Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. This is our last formal meeting of the year, so I hope you're all going to enjoy it. It's probably fair to say that the issue we're dealing with this weekend is not one that would be close to the top of many people's minds, or that many people might be familiar with. So it does represent a challenge to us then, I think, because some of the issues that we'll be dealing with are quite complex, but I do hope that we will succeed in the course of the presentations from our various experts, that the issues can be explained and put before you as simply and as clearly as possible. That certainly is our aim. I would start this weekend by maybe going back to the very first weekend when we set up shop, if you like, here in January. And I said that I felt it was very important that we would operate according to 5 operating principles. And they were that openness, that all our work would be entirely open, and we've, I think, managed to succeed in that. Fairness, that whatever two sides of an argument will be presented to you, that you'd get the range of views about particular issues. Equality, that really meant equality of voice between all the participants, citizen, members, and political. Efficiency, that we had a short time to do a lot of work. And collegiality. I think we've managed quite well on the collegiality front. But I think for this weekend, 2 of these principles are of particular relevance: the issue of fairness and the issue of efficiency. Fairness because you may have seen, I hope many of you will have read, the submissions that have been made to the convention on this topic. And it is a fact that the predominant number of those submissions are in favour of the abolition of the offence of blasphemy from the Constitution. But it is incumbent on us to acknowledge that there is another side to this argument. And yesterday, for example, we received a submission from the Knights of Columbanus, and that's in your folder because it's probably the most cogent argument on the other side to the majority side in this view. So we will be trying to make sure that the principle of fairness is respected in the course of this weekend. And then the second issue is actually efficiency, because we are going to try and deal with this issue in the course of today, because we have another important set of issues tomorrow. And so in terms of efficiency, making sure speakers stick to their time is one of the things that I will be attempting to insist on. In terms of a session in the afternoon, which we've entitled External Perspectives, it's not quite as simple as the normal for and against arguments that we normally have in dealing with a topic. We will have certain voices which are clearly advocates for the abolition of blasphemy from the Constitution, but other voices will be bringing perhaps a different perspective without necessarily being an advocate one way or the other. I think you'll get what I mean a bit more clearly when we get to that session. And then later in the afternoon, we will attempt to frame the ballot paper, something we normally do on a Sunday morning, but we will be attempting to do some work on it in the course of the day and bring a proposition to you in the final session of today's work. Now, what today is about is the issue of blasphemy. And when many of the submissions that have come in on this topic have said this is part of a wider debate about church and state matters and the role of God and religion in the Constitution. We're not dealing with that wider debate today. We will begin to talk as part of the agenda, the possible agenda for our final 2 meetings in February of next year. We will begin to talk about that tomorrow. So if people are attempting to raise issues in the course of today about when we're discussing blasphemy, about the preamble, or about other aspects of the Constitution deal with the church and state, we are not going there, and I will not be allowing debate to stray into this area, because I think we've more than enough to do to deal with the topic at hand. And then tomorrow we'll have a high-level summary of the submissions on the any other amendments, the last item on our formal agenda, which we'll be dealing with in February, and there we'll be capturing from the submissions the key points made in respect of the environment, economic, social and cultural rights, church and state, political and institutional reform, the family and issues of morality, and the Bill of Rights. And we're grateful to our academic legal team for having put a considerable amount of work in to summarise those submissions and to present them to you, hopefully in as clear a way as possible. So if you like, that's the scene setting. And now I think we have managed to, as we've managed to do for other topics, I think we've managed to get the 2 or 3 best experts on the topic in the room. And the first one to kick us off about the state of Irish blasphemy law, Dr. Neville Cox of Trinity College. Neville.